that I tested it on some friends of mine, and without exception, this is the response. You can't say that. We're going to say it. We're going to see what happens. All right. All right, growing up, Jordan was always 5 years younger than me. Always. That's a really dumb thing to say. I like that so much. All right, so when I was a child of 5 years old and I found out that my mother was expecting, I had probably a typical reaction. I was very excited that I might have a sister. Right. Now, so when Jordan was born, I cried. I cried a lot. And in fact, it's not only my only memory of his birth, it's one of my earliest childhood memories. It was just leaving the hospital in tears. Yeah. Now, at some point, Jordan learned that I cried at his birth. It wasn't until we were both in our 20s, however, that I learned that he didn't know the reason why I cried at his birth. I can't imagine carrying that sense of rejection around, you know, but the reason is actually very silly. We're going to come to that. We're going to come to that later, all right? But first, I have to break my first rule of Best Man Speeches, and that is that I am here today to announce for the first time that I'm going to get married. I'm going to get married. Don't get the wrong idea. It's not for love. It's not anything like that. It's just that with the possibility of Donald Trump being elected the next president of the United States, it's cast a dark shadow on the implications for immigration in the United States. And so let me just say, the green card marriage business is booming, all right? I'm going to be on my fourth spouse by the end of next week. I'm in high demand. I'm having the time of my life. Now, you know, now that I say that, I see why the best man's not supposed to do that. It takes the spotlight off Jordan Marr, doesn't it? That's very rude of me. You know, I apologize. I'm very sorry. I'm going to get back to Jordan. Now, when you have a little brother, you go through a stage, much like giving yourself your first haircut or navigating the onset of puberty. It's awkward, but it's something that we go through. And when you get a little bit older, you can look back and you can say, well, you know, if I had to do it all over again, I'd do it differently. And that's certainly the case with my brother Jordan. Because where there was once, you know, Jordan was great for being able to handcuff during cops and robbers. And I always looked forward to his birthdays because he would get toys that I could play with later. But it wasn't until you get a little bit older that you realize that having a brother is pretty awesome. Where there was once this little kid who just wants to be like you. All of a sudden a man emerges and he has agency and autonomy and his personality all of his own. And one day you sit back and you say, when did you become cool? You know, like, how did that sneak up on me? And then you feel like a really stupid idiot because you realize he was that way the whole time, you know? And this is certainly what happened with Jordan because he's done some really cool things. I'm going to tell you about some of them. One day he decided he wanted to play the drums. And next thing you know, he's ripping the drums up. I mean, he's a fantastic drummer. He kills the drums, right? One day he decided he wanted to run. Next thing you know, he can run marathons. All right? Stop and think about that. He can run distances that would kill some of us to walk. All right? And it was weird. In preparing this speech, I had it in my notes that he went to school to become a cis male. I don't know, but he married a female, so I guess he pulled that off, right?
No. Computers, you know. Computers.
Right. I'm sorry. Computer Information Systems, CIS. I got it. That's something very different, cis male. I'm sorry. But he went to school for computers, and he can crush League and Earthstone, so he picked something up there too, all right? Now, these are just some of the things that you guys know about. I'm going to tell you now about some of the things that you don't know about.
Yes.
Now, what I'm going to ask for is I'm going to ask for a volunteer from each table. And I'm sorry that some of you guys are over there at the food truck because you're going to miss the show and tell, all right? But we're going to have a volunteer from each table. And this is what we're going to do. In lieu of a projector, I'm going to have packets that are passed out to each table. And in these packets, you've got a stack of papers. These papers are pictures. Now, on these packets, there is a side that says bottom. And what you're going to do is I'm going to have one person designated as my volunteer from each table that is going to make sure we go through this in an organized fashion. We're not going to get out of order. We're not going to get ahead. We don't want to spoil any jokes, and I don't want to get distracted or lose my train of thought. That's not going to happen. So we're going to pass this out. I'm going to need one person to volunteer from each table. You're going to be in charge of the envelope. So just go ahead and raise your hand if you are willing to take on this responsibility. Those are just extras. So in addition to having these to look at your table, you can consider these party favors. If any of you like any of these pictures, you can take them with you. Better than a projector because we're not just clicking through them, all right? So, now listen, the way this is going to work is when you open it, put the side that says bottom touching the table, okay? So that his bottom is touching the table. And then when I'm going to have a picture here, and when I say the name of the picture and show it to the crowd, that is going to be your cue to flip the picture at your table, okay? So when I show the picture to the crowd, that's when you guys all look at the picture at your table. And just so you know, the last picture we're going to save until the end, all right? That's a special picture. We're saving the last picture to the end.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so what a lot of you guys don't know about Jordan is that he's actually had a very colorful and storied career in the entertainment industry, all right? So, to get started, what you don't know is that he did some work in the Lord of the Rings series, actually. He starred as the character Gimli, son of Groin. Gimli, son of Groin. And they call it, he did some beard doubling, they call it BD work in the industry. He did some BDing for Gandalf. And some work for Gandalf. All right. And after he did some BD work for Gandalf, the producers of the Lord of the Rings series liked him so much, they brought him back for The Hobbit, where he starred in the 4th installment, The Hobbit and Unexpected Jordan. All right. From there, he wasn't done with his fantasy fiction work yet. You might have seen him in the extended edition of the Harry Potter series, where he starred as the character Dumble Adorable. And then he was picked up by HBO to do some work in Game of Thrones, where he played King Broathian. And he also played the great Khal Drogo. Khal Drogo. All right, and you know, I broke the first rule of Best Man speeches already. I broke the second because I talked about the politics a little bit. Now we're going to get, you know, he starred in some National Lampoon's movies. The titles are a little raunchy. I didn't make it up. I swear to you, I didn't make it up. He starred in Braveheart. National Lampoon's Braveheart. He also starred in National Lampoon's Rasputin. And last but not least, the ever-popular Forrest Gump.
Yes!
And this, of course, was not the last time that he played a character that had been originally played by Tom Hanks. He also might have seen him in Castaway, When Harry Met Wilson. And he reprised his character, Harry, for the family classic, Very Harry and the Hendersons. All right. From there, I'm very excited to announce this one. I actually had to smuggle this photograph out of George Lucas's personal vaults, because this is a never-before-seen episode 3.5 of Star Wars, where Jordan and I co-starred together as Chewie and Han Brolo. And here's something you guys probably don't know. Jordan had a little something to do with the little duck thingy. Yeah, he was an original member of the Duck Dynasty cast. But here's where things get weird. Rumors surfaced that he is not racist or homophobic, so he was asked to leave the show. It was bad. Yeah. And then Jordan starred as in another sequel where he played the character Gangplank in Pirates of the Caribbean: The Saltwater Scourge. That joke's for about 4 of you guys. You're welcome. Jordan also played a very famous character in The Hangover before he was recast by Zach Galifianakis. Apparently Zach went to the producers. He said, listen, I consider this role being a one-man wolf pack, not a one-man wolf man, as you currently have it cast. Jordan also parted the Red Sea as none other than the great Roses. Then he went on to have a very, very successful career in the WWE as Kane and the Underfaker, where it was a tag team effort. From there, he went on to do a solo career as the Nacho Man, Jordy Savage. And we're coming up on our last movie. Remember, keep the last one down until the end. Our last movie with Jordan was in the Coen Brothers classic, The Bro Abides. The Bro Abides. All right. Now, if you thought you were done with the bathroom humor, you're not just yet. All right, so this is the part of the speech where I'm supposed to bring it back in and say something a little bit more meaningful and emotional. And, you know, I could do that. The problem is that this is where guys start crying. And I don't want to cry in front of you guys. And that's not because I would be embarrassed to be seen crying in front of you. The problem is that sometimes when I cry, I poop. And, yeah, I know, it's a bad combination of bodily functions. And it affects like 2% of the population, but... All right, that's rule number 4 for you. We got one rule left to go. It's my brother's wedding, guys. All right, so this is what I'm going to do now. I'm going to try to get through this one without incident, because like my sister, I can also tear up. So 2 Christmases ago, as we had the case, had been the case for many years, my brother and I were sharing a hotel room.
You got it! You got it!
I'm not really pooping, don't worry. I was living in we were sharing a hotel room at Christmas. I was living in San Francisco at the time, so we hadn't seen or spoken to each other too terribly often. We were both single, so we were catching up on each other's outlook on dating and relationships. Jordan told me, and I'm going to paraphrase, that he was apathetic to dating. This is the part that made me cry. It's the part coming up. So, he hadn't found anyone who truly captured him, and he wasn't trying to force it. He wondered if and when that might change. Fast forward a year, and I wasn't sharing a room at Christmas with my brother anymore. Yeah. All right, so Jordan had found Mar, and he was different. We all saw it. We all knew it. Mar brought out something in Jordan I'd never seen before, and I knew that it was special.
Got it.
It shouldn't be that hard. It shouldn't be that hard. So, I love knowing that Jordan has someone in his life that he loves the way he loves Mar. It's made him a better person, and I can see that he's happy. So I need to say thank you to my new sister, Mar, for helping Jordan become someone that he's happier to be. And thank you for bringing such love to our family. Jordan, you're my brother. I love you. I'm happy for you. I'm proud of you. I'll always... I'll always be here for you if you need anything. Not just as your big brother, but as your friend. It's an involuntary reaction. I'm sorry, guys. I wouldn't do it if I didn't have to. I just cry sometimes. I've been doing it since I was 5. And now that you mention it, that brings me to, I haven't told you yet why I cried when Jordan was born when I was 5 years old. So, the reason is actually really stupid. When I was a little kid, 5 years old, I loved He-Man. I loved He-Man more than anything. I was a huge He-Man fan, and I had every toy. And I had every toy. Also had the She-Ra toys, because She-Ra toys would be the girlfriends to my He-Man. But I thought that She-Ra was like a girl's toy. You know, you remember She-Ra, right? The Princess of Power. She was like He-Man's sister in her own little series. So I thought I was playing with girls' toys, and whenever I would go through the line at Toys R Us with my mom, I would be really embarrassed of, oh, you know, what's the cashier going to think I've got a girl's toy? And then I thought, oh, if I have a sister, I could play with her She-Ra toys, and I wouldn't have to deal with this humiliation anymore, right? And so then, when I found out Jordan was born, I was upset because he would never have any She-Ra toys for me to play with, and this is why I cried. Now, I got to break my last rule of best manning. Spoiler alert: it's a sex joke, but it's pretty tame. Even, you know, probably less racy than the belly dancing that already happened, so we're safe. So here it is. Jordan has the last laugh on, and ready to turn to the last picture here. He has the last laugh on that account because he's got a She-Ra all of his own. And she's off limits to everyone else, all right? Now, I promise you that joke was a lot racier when I first wrote it. I edited it, don't worry. All right, so now it's time to toast. To Jordan and Mar, in the words of the great Dumbledore, there will be times when you'll have to decide between what is easy and what is right. It is not due to dwell on dreams and to forget to live. You will only be as strong as you are united. And in my words, to lives lived long, lived well, and lived together. Thank you so much.